Well, if you're a fan of boy wizard Harry Potter, you may want to check out the latest novels to stir up your imagination. Eldest is a book, the second book actually, in the trilogy of a knight who is finding his way in the world, and the author is not much older than just a teenager than himself. Christopher, this is your second novel in this inheritance trilogy called The Eldest, or actually just Eldest. Now, you've already been a bestseller. This has knocked Harry Potter off the #1 spot at Amazon.com. That in itself must feel magical.
It's amazing. I never expected this to happen. I just tried to write a story that I would enjoy reading myself, and I'm incredibly grateful that so many people around the world have enjoyed it as well.
Yes, so many people around the world. This thing has sold a lot of books, and here's the deal. Because a lot of children really love these books because it's magical. You've got this character called Eragon. Tell me how you came up with this, because you're only 21 years old, a very young 21, and you started this first book when you were just 15, right?
That's right. I graduated from high school at 15 since I was homeschooled my entire life. And I didn't have a lot of things to do at the time since I live in a very isolated part of Montana. So I had to find a way to entertain myself, and the way I found that was by writing, especially since I really enjoyed reading a lot of epic fantasy at the time. Still do, as a matter of fact.
So did this just pop in your head, or, I mean, do you just have that vivid of an imagination? How do children out there come up with things like this?
Well, I was specifically inspired by a book called Jeremy Thatcher, Dragon Hatcher by Bruce Coville, which has the wonderful concept of a young boy in this world finding a stone that ends up hatching a dragon. Mm-hmm. And I loved that idea so much of a young boy finding a dragon egg that I asked myself 3 questions. I said, what land would a dragon come from? Who would find a dragon egg out in the middle of nowhere?
Yeah, who would?
And since dragon eggs can't be that common, who else would be looking for a dragon?
Yeah, I haven't found a dragon egg to date, so yeah, you're right. Not very common. Okay, so tell me about Eragon in the second book. How does his character transform or evolve, should we say? What can readers expect?
Well, if readers enjoyed the first book, they can expect more of the same duels and dragons and battles and villains and romance that I wrote about in the first book. The second book obviously continues Eragon's journey through his land, and his training continues, and since the Inheritance trilogy is a coming-of-age story, Eragon begins having to deal with some more mature issues and some greater responsibilities. So I really think the second novel expands on the world and the characters a lot more, and hopefully readers will enjoy it even more.
Yeah, talk about expansion here, because you created, I want to say, what, 3 languages for this book, one being the dwarf language, okay? So let's put you to the test. Speak to me in dwarf, I guess you'd call it.
Okay, let's see, a sentence in Dwarvish. Form Hrathkarach, form Jürgen Karmita, nos eta Gorath Bastarnag, Incesterach Kithin.
Okay, don't call me that again, all right? I won't stand for that. No, what did you just say then?
Oh, it's a line from the second book where one dwarf is challenging another about insulting Eragon. For the exact translation, people should read the book. But there's a reason the dwarves sound so hoarse. It's a very meaty language that you can really sink your teeth into.
Not only are these best-selling books, but you got a movie in the works, don't you?
That's right. Even as we speak, Fox 2000 is filming the Eragon movie in Budapest, Hungary. Wow. And they've cast some top-notch actors in the lead roles, everyone from John Malkovich to Jeremy Irons to Robert Carlyle. And in the role of Eragon, they've cast a young 17-year-old man from Britain, and his name is Ed Spaliers. So it's going to be very interesting to see how it turns out.
All right, and now Paolini says he will start writing the final installment of the trilogy as soon as he's finished with his current book tour, of course. The movie Eragon is due out next year.